This time, we have another example. We determine now the vertex, the left endpoint of the latus rectum, and the standard equation of the parabola given this diagram. So, pinapakita niya that the parabola opens downward with the focus at negative 1, 0, and the right endpoint of the latus rectum is 5, 0. So, if we're going to determine the vertex, we should know the distance between the focus and the vertex. However, wala tayong clue para makuha natin yung coordinates ni vertex, which is equal to A. But, we have the coordinates of the focus and the right endpoint of the latus rectum. And we know that the distance between these 2 points is equal to 2A. As you can see, focus is negative 1, 0, and the right endpoint of the latus rectum is 5, 0. That means, if we're going to get the difference between negative 1 and 5 or 5 and negative 1, the answer is 6 units. And this 6 units, or the value of 6, is our 2A. Okay? So, therefore, if 2A is equal to 6, that means our A is equal to 3. So that means if our A is equal to 3, the distance between the focus and the vertex is equal to 3. Okay? Later, gagamitin natin yan. Okay? By the way, the standard equation of our parabola, since this is downward, it will be x minus h squared equals negative 4a times the quantity y minus k. So, sabi nga natin, 2a is equal to 6. So, therefore, a is equal to 3. And, therefore, the distance between focus and the vertex is 3. So, if we go upward, papunta sa vertex, from focus, anong mababago sa focus? Yung y coordinate. So, 0 plus 3 is 3. So, therefore, the coordinates of our vertex now will be negative 1, 3. So, we have now the vertex of our focus, that is negative 1 and 3. And so, since this is our vertex, negative 1, 3, therefore, x, or rather h, is equal to negative 1, and k is equal to 3. That is based on our vertex. Okay? So, all we have to do is to simply substitute the values of h, k, and a to our standard equation. The quantity x minus h squared equals negative 4a times the quantity y minus k. So, isa-substitute lang natin. We plug in the values and then we will get quantity x minus negative 1 squared equals negative 4 times 3 times the quantity y minus 3. Simplifying this equation, we will get x plus 1 squared equals negative 12 times y minus 3. So this is the standard equation of our parabola. And lastly, for us to get the value of the left endpoint of the latus rectum, so coming from the focus, going to our left endpoint of the latus rectum, we subtract 6 to negative 1. So we will get now negative 7, 0. So these are the coordinates of the left endpoint of our latus rectum. So these are the standard equations, or rather, standard equations of our parabola that opens to the right with vertex at hk. So you have y minus k squared equals 4a times the quantity x minus h. So here are the vertex and the focus and the two endpoints of the latus rectum. The concept is still the same. So, since our movement from vertex to focus is to the right, horizontally, therefore, yung h ang mababago, plus the distance between the two, which is a, h plus a, k. k. So this will be now the coordinates of our focus. And then from focus to either of the endpoints of the latus rectum, the movement is vertical, either upward or downward. Therefore, ang mababago naman sa coordinate sa coordinate ng ating focus ay yung k, the y coordinate. So it's either we add 2a, because if we move upward going to the upper endpoint, or we subtract by 2a to our k if we go downward to our lower endpoint of the latus rectum. And this time, the equation now of our directrix will be equal to x equals h minus a, because from the x coordinate of our vertex, moving a to the left, so h minus a siya. So this is the equation of our directrix. And the same for the one that opens to the left. This time, the standard equation will be quantity y minus k squared equals negative 4a times the quantity x minus h. So this is our vertex and this is our focus. Vertex hk, going to focus, the distance is a, to the left. So therefore, our focus will have the coordinates h minus a, k. So either of the endpoints of the latus rectum, ang k naman or ang y coordinate ng ating focus ang mababago, either we add by 2a or we subtract by 2a. So for the upper endpoint, that is h minus a, hindi na bago yung x coordinate yung focus. This time the y coordinate is k plus 2a. And on the lower endpoint, that will now become h minus a, k minus 2a. So these are the coordinates of the points involved in the parabola with hk, yung vertex at hk that opens to the left. And then, from the vertex of hk, we move a units to the right para sa ating directrix. So, this time, the equation now of our directrix will be x equals h plus a. So let us now sketch the parabola with the standard equation, given standard equation y minus 2 squared equals 12 times the quantity x plus 4. So as you can see, this satisfies the equation of our parabola that opens to the right, okay, which is the quantity y minus k squared equals 4a times the quantity x minus h. So, ang kasama dito ni x ay positive 4. So, therefore, kung ang ating standard equation ay x minus h, ito ay positive 4. Therefore, our h is negative 4. And ang kasama naman dito ni y, kung siya ay y minus k and this is y minus 2, therefore, our k is equal to 2. And since our h is negative 4 and k is 2, that will give us the coordinates of our vertex, that is negative 4, 2. So negative 4, 2 is located on the second quadrant. So this time, yung 12 naman natin is our 4a. So 4a equals 12. That means our a is equal to 3 and our 2a is equal to 6. Okay? So, we sketch now the parabola. This is our x-axis, the y-axis. This is our vertex, negative 4, 2. The focus now will be negative 1, 2. Bakit? Because from the vertex, and the opening is to the right, so we move 3 units to the right, horizontally to the right. So, the x-coordinate ng vertex natin, which is negative 4, will be added by 3 units. So, negative 4 plus 3, it becomes negative 1, and the y-coordinate remains the same, that is 2. So, the focus is negative 1 and 2. Now, since our 2a is equal to 6, and the movement from focus to the upper endpoint of the latus rectum is equal to the distance between these 2 points is equal to 6. That is 2a, yung nakuha natin kanina. So, 2 plus 6, that is 8. And the x-coordinate of our focus remains the same kasi the movement is vertical, not horizontal. Kaya y-coordinate lang ang nagbago. So, this is our coordinates for the upper endpoint of our latus rectum. And for the lower endpoint of our latus rectum, this time we subtract 6 from 2. So 2 minus 6, that is negative 4. So the coordinates now of our lower endpoint of the latus rectum is negative 1, negative 4. And so we sketch the graph, the curve, and then yung ating namang equation of our directrix. So the distance between vertex and focus is 3. So this time, going to the left, magsusubtract tayo. Negative 4 minus 3 is negative 7. So x now, so the equation now of our directrix will be x equals negative 7.